Y'all gonna have to give me an astounding round of applause for our very own Pia Odom.
I am super excited to see y'all. I definitely had some anxiety earlier of feeling like a little kid and nobody's gonna show up at my birthday party, so it is wonderful to see all your faces. Today I'm gonna be talking a little bit about somatic tools for navigating stress. The word soma is a Greek word meaning the body, so today we're gonna be working on some body-based tools. Like Lana said, some of this is just gonna be talking about the science behind why this works, and some of it is actually gonna be experiential, so I'd like you all to actually try it out together. How does that sound? Good? Okay, great. Is it that one? Okay, so the agenda for today, again, we're just gonna be going through some of the science. Not my strong suit, to be completely honest with you, so I tried to make this like easily digestible. If there is a point where it becomes confusing or you don't understand what I'm saying, please stop me and we'll try to figure it out together. After we talk about that, we're gonna go through some of the skills together, and then we're gonna have some time to discuss what you learned, discuss your experience, and then answer any questions that you may have. Should I use the regular mic? Is that better? Okay. So let's start with what the nervous system actually is. The nervous system is essentially your body's communication network. It helps you sense the world around you, react to it, and then keep everything running smoothly inside your body. So it's basically a feedback system that helps you take in information from the world, figure out what you want to do with that information, and then respond appropriately. It's made up of 3 parts. You have the brain, which is your control center. It processes information and makes decisions. You then have the spinal cord, which is a bundle of nerves that connects the brain to the rest of the body and then sends messages back and forth. Then you have the nerves, which are basically like wires that carry the messages between the brain, spinal cord, and rest of the body. There are 2 parts of the nervous system. You have the sympathetic system, and then you have the parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system activates when the body perceives a threat or is under stress. So historically speaking, or when we're talking about this from like an evolutionary perspective, this would activate if you were to see a natural predator like a tiger. Now, in modern times, our stress perception or our threat perception is a little more nuanced and actually tends to be overreactive. So it might react to things like being yelled at by your boss, being in traffic, getting too many emails, relationship stress, being worried about whether you're gonna get enough food, being too hungry, being tired. These are things that might all activate your sympathetic nervous system. The responses to that activation are fight, flight, fawn, and freeze. This is also the same as a trauma response, and you might hear it called that too if you're in spaces where we're talking about mental health. Again, great if you're trying to outrun a tiger, probably not so great if you're trying to negotiate a raise, for example. So, when your sympathetic nervous system is activated, your body is floods with 3 hormones: adrenaline, norepinephrine, and cortisol. In short-term bursts, they essentially allow the parts of your body that are geared towards survival to work really, really, really well and shut down the parts of your body that are not necessary for survival at that exact moment. In the long term, it can cause chronic problems, however, which I'll talk about in a little bit. On the other hand, the parasympathetic nervous system helps your body to calm down once the threat or stress or whatever it is you're experiencing goes away. This is your body's rest, digest, and repair response. It basically activates when you feel safe. So some parts of it, your body emits oxytocin. Oxytocin is the love drug. This actually emits quite frequently when we're around people we love. It activates during sexual intercourse. It also activates when we are giving birth or an experience with our baby. We also emit serotonin, which is basically the happiness drug as well. We also have increased production of digestive enzymes, and our immune system gets stronger when our parasympathetic nervous system is activated. This is essentially the way your body shifts from surviving to thriving. Are there any questions about that so far? No? Okay. So some signs of sympathetic activation, you all know when you're stressed out, but I'm just gonna kind of run through this quickly so you know what kind of the classic signs are. Some of the immediate symptoms are rapid heartbeat, rapid and shallow breathing, tense muscles, sweating, dry mouth, dilated pupils, digestive slowdown, jittery, anxious, on edge, angry, or panicked. Again, great if you're trying to outrun a tiger, probably not great if you're stuck in traffic. Okay, the long-term effects might include things like chronic high blood pressure, increased risk of heart disease, weakened immune system, digestive issues, hormonal imbalance, insomnia, muscle tension, chronic pain, weight gain. Emotional and mental symptoms might include anxiety, hypervigilance, which basically means you're constantly scanning for a threat, irritability, overstimulation, which basically means you're taking in too much information at once and you get overwhelmed, anger, outbursts, brain fog, feeling disconnected or dissociated from your body, and exhaustion. I'm curious, does anybody have any thoughts, feelings, reflections about some of the signs of sympathetic activation?
I've experienced some of them.
Great.
You have the high blood pressure, but I'm managing the weight gain. And recently, I've been diagnosed with hyperthyroid.
Hyperthyroid, okay.
Which I don't know if this falls under that. And I think that I have my fair share of stress.
Yeah.
That I at best exercise would kind of curb it, help balance it, and at worst, for maybe reasons of inflammation, it would cause me not to be as mobile because I'm dealing with arthritis to some extent, and then when that happens, then I don't have anything to really balance the stress level, and it becomes really problematic.
Thank you so much for sharing. Anyone else? Okay. All right, so thank you so much for sharing. One of the points I wanted to bring up about this is that a lot of the long-term effects are things that the Black community and other communities of color tend to be diagnosed with frequently. One of the reasons or one of the beliefs that we as clinicians tend to have about that is that it tends to be tied to, one, chronic stress, but two, existing within overlapping systems of oppression, right? Rather than just us being inherently at higher risk. So just knowing, right, that these symptoms are things that can show up as a side effect of chronic stress rather than it just being something that we're diagnosed with in our community. Alternatively, there are sometimes some signs of parasympathetic activation, which basically means your body is moving into the rest, digest, and repair response. Some of the immediate symptoms include slower, deeper breathing, a calm, steady heart rate, relaxed muscles, warm hands and feet. Your body increases its circulation. The return of digestive activities like stomach gurgles or hunger. Clear, more grounded thinking, a sense of presence or emotional ease, and a natural desire for connection, rest, and stillness, which would come from your body emitting oxytocin and serotonin. Some of the long-term effects of having parasympathetic activation, meaning that your body is well regulated, would include lower blood pressure, improved digestion and nutrient absorption, a stronger immune system, reduced inflammation, balanced hormones, and better sleep quality. Some of the emotional signs might include decreased anxiety and emotional reactivity, right? The calmer you are, the harder it is to become reactive. Greater emotional resilience, again, back to that piece of if you're already at peace, it's hard to take your peace. And an overall sense of stability, safety, well-being, and presence. All right. So, With that said, does anybody have any thoughts or ideas about how we can move from being in sympathetic activation or moving from a state of survival into a state of thriving? Yeah. Great, thank you. Breathing. Anyone else? Walking. Great. Exercising. Yes. Self-reflecting. Excellent. Sleep. Great. Anyone else? Hydration. Great. Thank you so much. Those are great answers. The idea is that stress lives in our body, right? So in order to be able to address stress, we actually have to do things with our body. It's not just something that's based in the mind. So self-regulation is the overall goal. This is what we call it in therapy, if you're working with a psychotherapist or if you're working from a holistic health model. Self-regulation is the ability to manage and control your emotions, thoughts, and behaviors that promote positive outcomes. It involves 1, recognizing and understanding emotional states, and 2, setting goals and implementing strategies to achieve those goals, especially in challenging situations. This doesn't mean that you don't get dysregulated, but it means that you can come back to the state again and again and again of being in parasympathetic activation. Self-regulation encompasses both emotional regulation, just like I said, managing your feelings, and behavioral regulation, which includes controlling your actions or making positive choices for yourself. All right, so I heard some answers about like what's been helpful for self-regulation. I heard breathing, I heard walking, I heard hydration, I heard self-reflection. I'm curious, what have been some unhelpful answers that people have gotten about ways to manage your mental health or ways to take care of yourself? Move on, ignore it, thank you. Okay, terrible answer, but yes, I agree. Anyone else? Yes.
To hear those words, like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, but you keep saying you're sorry, but how am I going to resolve my situation or my problem? Because I leave this place and I'm still the same person that when I came in. So you're not telling me anything. Like,
Right.
it's like you're empathizing with me, but then we're not resolving anything. So it's like I'm going in round and around and around.
So I'm hearing almost like basically an empty apology, but not changed behavior. Okay, yes. Also terrible. Anyone else? Therapy as an unhelpful solution? Unhelpful, I was gonna say, oh no, not therapy. That's true, absolutely. Okay. Okay, anyone else? Yes. Okay, so some sounds like what you were mentioning, right? Anyone else? Negative self-talk, thank you. I saw a hand back there. Alcohol, truly terrible. I appreciate you naming that. Anyone else?
Just medicating.
Medicating, so finding ways to basically numb out, right? So those are some, yes, really unhelpful ways of managing your mental health, managing your stress. In the short term, it might be the best that that person has to deal with that problem, and in the long term, none of those are viable solutions. What we tend to recommend, though, when we are doing stress management from a therapeutic perspective is to work with the body first. So today, we're gonna move through some exercises. How do folks feel about that? I just wanna check in. Okay. We're gonna move through some exercises today. The first one we're gonna start with is box breathing. So I'll talk a little bit about what box breathing is, then we're gonna try it out together. Box breathing is just a simple, powerful way to shift your body out of a stress response into a rest digest response and calm your nervous system by regulating your breath. So basically what box breathing looks like is you're gonna breathe in for the count of 4, hold for the count of 4, breathe out for the count of 4, hold for the count of 4. We're gonna do this 6 times You need 4 to 6 just for your body to start to recognize what happens. Anytime you make your exhale longer than your inhale, it signals your brain, basically telling it that your body is at rest. So it begins to move into that rest and digest phase. If you're having issues like sleeping, or you're having an issue like being activated in a situation where you don't want to be, even if you're not utilizing box breathing, just the process of making your exhale longer than your inhale can help move your body back into that state. So it tends to slow down your heart rate, improve your focus and clarity, and signals to your body that you're safe. Over time, it builds resilience and discipline, right? You have a greater ability to kind of tolerate things that are uncomfortable. And best of all, it's free, and you can do it anytime and anywhere. Just maybe don't close your eyes while you're driving. All right, so are you folks ready to try this? I know the moms group, you all have done this box breathing before. Has anybody else done? Yes.
I have a question about, because sometimes it's breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, and sometimes it's in through your nose and out through your mouth. What difference does it make?
That's a good question. I was always trained for box breathing or diaphragmatic breathing to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. When we're kind of like naturally breathing, we tend to breathe in through our nose and out through our nose. So I think the process of breathing out through your mouth can just create some intentionality, so you're really focused on what you're doing. I don't know for other folks, but I know for me, the only other time I'm breathing out through my mouth is when I'm sick, and that doesn't feel great. So having like a time and place where you breathe out through your mouth can cause you to pay attention to it a little bit more. All right. Yes.
Like 4 days ago, I woke up in the middle of the night and I had a foot sound walking in, and I woke up, probably sleeping. My chest was pounding really hard, and I didn't know what to do, but I called my daughter. She had me do some deep breathing on the phone.
Yes.
She said, do it again. I did it again. She said, one more time. She said, hold it. And I held it, and it stopped.
Great.
The heart, my chest stopped pounding.
Mm-hmm.
Real bad.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what to do. I started calling 911. Before I called 911, I called my daughter. She had me breathing and went away.
Great. Okay, so it sounds like deep breathing was really effective for you. That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing. All right. Any other reflections on deep breathing before we get into the experiential part? No? Okay. All right. So I want to invite folks, if you have a trauma history, it might be a little bit uncomfortable to do some of these exercises. Adapt it to make it comfortable to you in whatever way you need to. If there's something you don't want to do, please do not feel pressured or obligated to do it. If you need to adapt it to make it so you can do it, please feel free to do that. So I'm going to kind of take you through this. We're going to try it once, and then we're going to do a couple rounds of this. So if you would, if you're seated, put your feet flat on the floor, lean back against your chairs, drop and relax your hands. Drop your shoulders, unclench your jaw, unstick your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Relax your cheeks, unfurl your brow. If it feels comfortable to you, you can close your eyes. If that doesn't feel comfortable to you, you can just lower your gaze. And I'm gonna count in. Breathe in through your nose, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. All right, you can open your eyes for a second. I forgot to mention, when we're exhaling, you want to blow out through your mouth like you're blowing bubbles. When you're breathing in, try to make your breath slow and steady. We're going to try this again. We're going to go through this 6 times. Are you all ready? Okay. Sit back in your chair. Start to drop in and presence yourself again. If you need to wiggle a little bit beforehand so you can sit still, feel free to do that. Close your eyes or lower your gaze. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, breathe out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, breathe out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, breathe out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, breathe out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, breathe out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold. Good job, everyone. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, bring a little movement back into your body. Let your breath come back to normal. How did that feel for folks?
When I'm breathing out and holding, it was a little challenging to breathe back in. It's easier for me to inhale and then hold, then exhale and hold,
Okay.
and then breathe back.
Okay, so kind of the upswing again feels a little bit challenging to you. Okay, thank you so much. Anyone else? Any thoughts, questions, reflections? How did it feel? What did you notice? Yes, Ashanti.
It's just great. I just love it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
Take it out and just stay, like without, it's like it was hard, but also so relaxing that, it's like you're want to sleep, but also I'm like, it's just imagining somewhere, not, in the clouds. Like,
Thank you. So I hear part of it is challenging, but it's also really relaxing for you. I want to note, right, just like in meditation, not every breath is going to feel perfect. There's going to be moments where it feels challenging, and the idea is to just stay present with what's happening at that time. So that kind of brings you right out of that survival sensation or out of that like fight, flight, fawn, or freeze sensation into being in the present. You had your hand raised.
I do that exercise when I'm in bed and I get to sleep. It relaxes me. Next thing I know.
Great. I'm so glad. To your point, right, just like I said earlier, when you make your exhale just as long or longer than your inhale, it signals to your brain that your body is at rest, so then you start to get a little naturally sleepy. So box breathing is something you can do before bedtime. Another count that people like to do before bed is breathe in for 4, hold for 7, and exhale for 8, which is a little more challenging, but you're getting that like really deep breath in when you're doing that.
That's what I do, 4, 7, 8.
Great, exactly. Perfect, thank you so much. Yes.
Okay, let's try it. All right.
So I just want to agree with Gloria. Holding the breath after the exhale was difficult. I was like, wait, I think I'm kind of breathing in. So I've done this exercise, but I've never done the breath on the end. So breathe in, hold it, exhale, but then no more hold,
Okay,
and then breathe in again.
okay, thank
It was
you.
different, and so I felt
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing. Yes. There are a lot of different ways that people do guided breathing or do deep breaths. So if this one doesn't resonate for you, which it might not, for example, I really love doing like a 4-8 count where I breathe in for 4, exhale for 8. So play around with this at home. If this is something you're interested in practicing or something you're interested in trying, play around with what count feels good to you. For some people, it's 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. For some people, it's the 4, 7, 8. For some people, it's the 4, 4, 4. For some people, it's 4 in, 6 out. I think I saw one more hand. Was your hand raised? Nope? Okay, great.
The difference is when you're doing it to relax, to go to sleep, you pause and then you breathe back in. So you don't hold your breath. So the exercising, the box breathing, is an exercise. So you do have to get comfortable with doing that type of exercise because it's 2 different treatments.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that reflection. Okay. Well, if there's no more reflections on box breathing, let's move on to exercise number 2. So exercise number 2 is called orienting. And the reason why we do orienting is that stress can cause us to kind of develop a tunnel vision where we're constantly scanning for threats and focusing on problems. So when we do that, it's really hard to focus on the good things or really hard to experience enjoyment. We're basically either anxious about something that's going to happen in the future, we may be feeling depressed or sad about something that's going to happen in the past. So that way we're not really actually present. Our sympathetic nervous system is activated, and by moving back into the present and noticing the sensations that we're having here and now, we're able to move back into the parasympathetic response. It reminds us that we are physically safe and we're here now in this moment. The way that we do orienting is we essentially start by noticing the environment and our location in both place and time. So we notice where we are, we notice that we're here in the present, we notice anything that we might be seeing around the room, anything we're feeling, and then we may take a minute to note something that maybe feels pleasant to us or a thing or two. So for example, if I were outside, I may say the sunlight feels really good on my skin. Or if I were near the ocean, I might say the salt water smells really good. I might notice the ground under my feet. I might notice the sound of the birds. I might notice, the way the sun feels or the color of the water. Orienting is just a way of being able to ground ourselves in the present. So orienting tends to shift your attention out of an internal stress loop and into present moment reality, which sends a signal to the brain that you're not in immediate danger, right? The danger is in our imagination. It also activates the parasympathetic nervous system. It reduces dissociation. Dissociation, do folks know what that is? Okay. Dissociation is a trauma response. It's basically where we tend to become disconnected from our body if we can't run away from a situation or we can't fight our way out of a situation. Sometimes our sense of consciousness our sense of consciousness will essentially just leave our body. We feel disconnected from our body so that way we don't have to physically experience the pain of what happened. For folks that have a trauma history, they may continue to feel dissociation after the fact, or they may become dissociated in really stressful situations. Similarly, orienting can help reduce anxiety and hypervigilance. We're no longer scanning for threats, right? And it builds your capacity for presence even during challenging times. So if you have a tendency to dissociate or you have a tendency to leave a very stressful situation because it's triggering, comments, concerns, reflections about that? No? All right, let's try some orienting. So when you're ready, if you would, get comfortable in your seat, put your feet flat on the ground, allow your body to sink into your chair, drop your shoulders, unclench your jaw, unfurl your brow. You're gonna keep your eyes open for this one. And you're just gonna move your head slowly, or maybe not even move your head at all. But I just want to invite you to take a moment to look around the room. Notice anything you might be seeing. So for example, maybe the blue wall behind me, maybe the whiteness of the screen. If you can just name the color and name the object that you're seeing in the room, just slowly scanning the room, being really gentle with your body. Then when you feel ready, take a moment to just notice where you are. Notice the feeling of your feet on the ground. Notice your legs and your sit bones against the chair. Notice your back. Notice the position your shoulders might be in, if they need to be adjusted. Then as you're sitting, take a moment and see if there's any sensations that feel pleasant to you. Maybe it's the feeling of being satisfied from your dinner. Maybe it's the comfort of one of the items of clothing that you're wearing. I know for me a lot, sometimes I catch whiffs of my perfume and that makes me really happy. So if you're wearing a scent that you like, maybe just the way that smells. Maybe it's the sense of, feeling your feet on the floor or being really comfortable in your chair. But if you can in this moment, just name 2 things that feel pleasant to you right now. 2 sensations, 2 things you see, 2 things you hear. Any of the above, but pick 2. And when you have your 2, please raise your hand. Just two things that feel pleasant to you, and when you have them, you can just raise your hand. Great. Okay, great. We're not going to share them, but just want to know that you're done. Okay. So once you finish the exercise, start to move back into your body. We can gently wake up our body by wiggling our toes, wiggling our fingers, rolling our shoulders, maybe moving our necks from side to side, and come back into the present. Okay. All right, how was that for folks? I see you shaking your head. Was that a hard one?
I wasn't able to connect to that one.
Okay.
That's okay though.
Okay, thank you so much for that feedback. Yes, there are some exercises that may not work.
I mean, I did connect to something that was pretty, like the flowers there.
Okay.
I was able, but the other things, because I was hearing things that didn't put me in a place of tranquility.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, of course. I mean, let's be clear, like we're in an environment with high ceilings, sound carries, there's bright lights, we're with babies. Like, yes, absolutely, that may happen for you too. So thank you for that feedback. Yes.
I had a lack of concentration. I was trying to zoom in, really think of good things and meditate on things I saw on the wall, but it's kind of like distracting.
A difficult one. Okay, thank you. I saw your hand raised as well.
Well, so this one works well when I'm walking, like in
Yes.
Parasympathetic Park.
Mm-hmm.
So I just focus on, new flowers or something different that's there that I didn't see before, or how many birds are out in the water, and that allows me to appreciate nature and make that my focus, and I know exactly where I am, and it's amazing how many new things I see. I don't know if they were there before, but my lens is clearer, and I'm just able to see.
Yes, thank you so much. I really appreciate you bringing in the fact that you're doing that in a place that you go to often, in a place that you find really beautiful. That is a really good place to be able to do that exercise. So thank you so much. Yes.
So 2 things. One is it's like there's no children, so it's like I have the noises.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I love nature, but I had a friend that's a good watcher, and I took my nephew and my daughter, they were toddlers, and so there was, bird watching. The noise they were making, and I told my nephew, I called them my children. It's like, until now, to annoy someone, they go, so that noise. I'm excited because Rafiki is taking us to bird watching next week.
Great.
Friday.
Fantastic. Yeah. So maybe this is an exercise you can use when you go bird watching.
Exactly.
Okay.
But I love, like I said, then over there, it's like, I saw all this beautiful stuff, beautiful people. My concentration was on that camel. It's an environment that, camels are one of the things that are, and they're just wonderful. To ride, to just have around, we need camel milk, we need camel, meat and all that. So I was just, having my milk. So anyways.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing. Anyone else? Any reflections, questions, comments, concerns about orienting or presencing? Yes.
I really like this exercise because it requires you to kind of be present in the moment. I did something similar to this, but when I walk, the lady over there, she mentioned, like when I walk just in the neighborhood or wherever, I always look at flowers. I love taking pictures of flowers and just look how they bloom and stuff like that. And just kind of feel like all the parts of your feet. Like when you walk, you just do it, and you never really think about what it takes to actually walk. Like, what if you were missing toes? Would it still be easier to walk? But I mean, just feeling like all the parts and feeling your muscles. It's really intentional and mindfulness, and I mean, that's what I think, that's what comes to mind with this exercise. Like, you have to be mindful, and a lot of times you can't focus because you just can't focus. Like, there's so much stuff going on. But to be mindful is to really focus on what do you see. And so one of the things was I noticed the yellow pot with the plant. Like, I come to Rafiki all the time, but I just never remember seeing this yellow pot. So it just came to mind, the yellow pot, and then the different flowers that are around the room. But the other thing is, just seeing all of you was like kind of relaxing to me, because I'm like, wow, I'm really in an environment, we're all learning this together, we're all doing this exercise together, and it's just like calming, and like the babies are doing what the babies do, but that's okay, because that's what babies do, and the moms are still getting the information because they're here too. So they're learning so that hopefully they help their babies, the methods that help calm the babies.
Thank you. Yes, thank you so much for that reflection. I want to mention, and you brought up a really good point, right? Like, this exercise really requires you to be present, and I tend to recommend this exercise for folks who don't feel safe closing their eyes, which is a really common trauma response. So if you need something to keep your eyes open, or if you're doing something, I don't know, this is something that you can do while you're driving as well, of just like noticing your surroundings while you're driving. But if there's something that requires you to keep your eyes open, or you don't feel safe keeping your eyes open and you want to be present, this is a good exercise to try. Okay, anything else? No? I noticed that some folks are taking notes. Lana is back there. I printed out some cheat sheets with these exercises on them, how to do them, and a little bit of information about them. So if you want to grab one, you are welcome to. All right. So we're gonna do one more exercise, and then we're gonna wrap this up. Some of you may be familiar with this exercise. We're gonna do a body scan. So kind of like dissociation, stress can cause us to check out of our bodies, or just kind of like not be in touch with what's happening in our bodies, which leads us to not notice as easily when we're dysregulated or when we're in the sympathetic response. A body scan helps us to kind of return home to our body and observe whatever sensations we might be having without judgment. It also gives us the ability to address them in that moment. Typically, you start from your toes and move up to the top of your head and kind of readjust anything that you're feeling in your body if you feel the need to, or just observe it. Sometimes the act of observation allows you to let go of the sensation you might be holding in your body. My recommendation for this is that you incorporate bringing some slower breathing into that so you can sink a little more deeply into this exercise. If you become distracted, you can return to your breathing and then just try to pick it up again when you feel ready. So body scans tend to help you shift out of your head and back into your body, as I said earlier, especially if dissociation is a symptom that you experience. It helps you to build gentle awareness of tension, numbness, pain, or ease, which creates a direct pathway to calming the nervous system and inviting your parasympathetic nervous system to engage. And then it increases your capacity to stay present and regulated even during stress, right? If you are familiar of my hip tightens up when this particular thing happens, you are much more likely to adjust it so that it doesn't happen as often, or you're more likely to notice it when it does happen. Are there any questions about body scans? No? All right, let's give it a try. So we're gonna resume our stance again. Get comfortable in your chair. My recommendation is that you put your feet flat on the floor. Let your legs and your sit bones drop into your seat. Lean back against your chair. Relax your hands. Drop your shoulders. Open your chest. Unclench your jaw. Unstick your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Relax your cheeks. Close your eyes or lower your gaze. Notice the blackness behind your eyes. Unfurl your brow. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And when you're ready, just take a moment to notice your toes. Notice the balls of your feet. Notice the tops of your feet. Notice your arches. Notice your ankles. Notice any stress, any tension, tightness, knots, pain, sensations you might be feeling in your feet or your ankles. If it feels good to you, you can give them a gentle wiggle or maybe rotate them if that feels comfortable. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And as you breathe out, imagine yourself pushing any of those sensations out and just inviting them to gently dissipate. One more deep breath in through your nose. And inviting those sensations to gently dissipate on your exhale. Next, we're going to move to our calves. Notice the muscles of your calves. Notice your shins. Notice your knees. Notice your quads or the tops of your thighs. Notice your hamstrings. Notice if there's any tightness, any tension, any pinching, any tingling or sensations in your legs. If it feels good to you, you can start to bring a little movement into your legs. You might want to massage the tops of your thighs, or maybe give your your legs a little wiggle. As you breathe, just inviting any of the sensations to dissipate if they're bothering you. Take a deep breath in through your nose And as you breathe out, imagine the sensations in your legs falling away as you exhale. We'll do one more. Breathe in through your nose. Next, we're going to notice our sit bones. And I want to invite you to be really gentle here. We can store a lot of trauma in our sit bones. Same with our hips. Take a moment to notice your hips. We tend to store trauma here too, so be really gentle with your observations. Do your best to express curiosity and non-judgment. Notice your stomach. Be gentle again here too. We hold a lot of emotion here. Notice your lower back. Notice if you're experiencing any sensations, if there's any tightness, any tension, any tingling, any pinching. As you notice, maybe you want to invite some movement in. If you're sitting, you might want to shift from sit bone to other sit bone. Maybe you want to lean forward in your chair or from side to side. If it feels good, maybe you want to massage your hips. But just take a minute to gently allow those sensations to dissipate, whether it's through your breath or through movement. Let's take a big inhale in through your nose. And as you breathe out, invite any sensations you may be experiencing in your middle section to dissipate. One more deep breath in through your nose. As you breathe out, just inviting any sensations you're experiencing that might be lingering to leave. Next, we're going to notice our ribs. Notice your chest. Notice your shoulder blades. Notice the tops of your shoulders. Notice if there's any tightness, any tension, any pinching or tingling or sensations in the upper half of your torso. If it feels good to you, maybe you want to rub your chest or roll your shoulders. Maybe touch your shoulder blades together if that feels comfortable to you. And if not, you can just breathe through it, inviting any sensations you might be experiencing to just gently dissipate, to start to fall away. When you're ready, take a deep breath in through your nose. And as you breathe out, imagine those sensations falling away. One more deep breath in through your nose. And as you breathe out, imagine those sensations dissipating. Let's take a moment to notice your biceps. Notice your triceps. Notice your elbows. Notice your forearms. Notice your wrists. Notice the palms of your hands. Notice the backs of your hands. Notice your fingers. And if it feels good to you, maybe you want to bring a little movement in here. Maybe you want to open and close your hands or rotate your wrists. Maybe give your arms a little wiggle if that feels good. And if not, just inviting any of the sensations you might be experiencing to gently start to fall away. Imagine them moving out through the palms of your hands, down into the earth and out of your body. And when you're ready, take a deep breath in through your nose. And as you breathe out, imagine the sensations leaving out through the tips of your fingers. One more deep breath in through your nose. And as you breathe out, imagine any sensations just leaving, trickling away quietly and slowly. Next, we're going to notice our throat. Notice the front of your throat. Notice the hollow of your throat. Notice your collarbone. Notice the back of your neck. Notice your jaw. Notice your tongue. Notice your lips. Notice your cheeks. Notice your teeth. Notice your nose. Notice your eyes. Notice your eyebrows. Notice your ears. Notice your temples. Notice your forehead. Notice your hairline. Notice the top of your head. Notice if there's any sensations that might be present. Maybe there's some tightness or some tingling. Maybe there's some fatigue. We do a lot with our faces. They're very expressive. If it feels good to you, you might want to open and close your mouth a couple times if you feel like engaging in movement. Maybe you want to massage your face if that feels good to you, especially your cheeks and your forehead. And if not, just gently breathe into your neck and your face. And when you're ready, let's take a deep breath in through our nose. And as we breathe out, just allow the sensations to leave our neck and our face. Deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth, letting any sensations dissipate. On this next breath, take a deep breath in and just notice if there's any lingering sensations anywhere in your body that we may have missed. And as you breathe out, just inviting those sensations to dissipate and leave gently. One more deep breath in through your nose. Breathe in through your nose, letting any final sensations go out through your mouth. Start to let your breathing come back to normal. You don't have to open your eyes yet if you don't want to. Just so you can wake up a little bit, just wiggle your toes a little bit. Wiggle your fingers. Roll your shoulders. Try to touch one ear to your shoulder, and then the other one. If your eyes are closed, put your hands over your eyes. Spread your fingers, and you can open your eyes so it's a bit of a gentle re-entry. And when you're ready, come back. All right, folks. How was that for folks? Relaxing. Great. That is the intended goal. So mission accomplished. I'm glad it was relaxing. What sensations did you notice? The breathing and slowing down. Great. Did anyone get one more time?
It's a way of getting in touch with your whole body.
Yes.
Start with moving and, familiarizing yourself with your body.
Yes, thank you so much. Did anybody get any messages from parts of their bodies or notice anything that they haven't normally noticed?
Well, I noticed I carried tension in my shoulder, so I was constantly like having to readjust for the tension. And then I noticed my diaphragm moving back and forth, like the muscle tension there.
Thank you. Yes. Anyone else?
Actually, we had so repeat again he used to tell us anyway, it's like you need to thank, like exercise, do the exercises, but thank you, when you're laboring, So we, it's like I just said, I know my anatomy, but I never conquered my body, so I would do that. But thank you for the reminder again, because
Sure.
it's like you said, it's like I can feel the tensions even inside. So thank you. It's like
course.
put me back to my body.
Great.
So
I'm so glad.
to pay attention to.
Great. I'm so glad. Thank you. All right, y'all. We are getting really close to time. But before we go, just want to give you the key takeaways of what we worked on today so you can remember. Lana has sheets if that would help. So if you remember like 3 things from today's presentation, stress lives in your body, not just the mind. And if you want to address stress, you need to do things to care for your body. Things can include box breathing, body scans, and orienting, but really anything that helps you to feel calm and feel in touch with your body is a way of engaging. The only other piece of advice I would have is just to start small, right? These are not long, these don't have to be long drawn out things that you do. You can literally do like 4 rounds of box breathing and that takes less than 2 minutes. You can do it when you wake up. You can do it before you go to bed. You can do it when you do your prayer or meditation. You can do it in the shower or when you're driving. Start small, give it a try, see how it works for you. And if it doesn't work for you, try something else. But I hope this was helpful for you all. Thank you so much for coming. Good work, everybody. You did great.